So we're looking at investors losing 70, 80% of their money, and that includes insurance company. And if they don't have the money and you want your money, you got a problem. So I'm telling people, particularly older people, who have their policies half paid for, to start thinking about pulling the money out. I had a policy yesterday, $271,000, 84-year-old man. That's a payoff if he dies here in the next few years. If he cashes out today, it's $251,000. Told him, cash it out, take the money and go into gold and silver-related assets. And, I don't know how much it costs to bury somebody, but we'll say it's $20,000. That's really all you need. So why not go for it? You can't take it with you. Shrouds have no pockets in them. And where you're going, the shroud will probably either get burned up fast or they'll be giving you an angelic outfit, one or the other. So with that said, the money in the banks, get it out, except what you need for 3 or 4 months operating expenses. And those CDs, get rid of them. The game is on. Don't get left at the station. The train is starting to pull away for the last time.
On the program, we also say to get out of debt. The question to you is, Bob, why? If the U.S. eventually is going to default on its obligations, wouldn't it be prudent to buy gold and silver instead of paying off credit card debt? At least
yes,
you would have some.
Yes, it would. It all depends on your situation. Everybody is different, and that's why people who want to do that, they've got to email me, and I'll get on the phone and talk about it.
At least you would
some
have
people should, some people shouldn't.
At least you would have some real money when the house of cards collapsed. What pain could they inflict other than a poor credit rating?
Well, credit ratings aren't going to mean anything.
No.
Probably. And maybe that is a little passé here now that gold and silver look like they're going to scream. And we're getting closer and closer to decision day, we'll call it, when we're looking maybe next month or 2 years from now at devaluations probably all over the world. You've got to be at gold and silver. So as long as you can handle paying the interest, a little bit of principal, take that money that you've got coming in and use it to buy coins.
We had a question. You talked a little bit about it earlier about the deflation. We talk about on this program lots of times, and we're going to transfer the numismatic coins and the bullion coins. And his question is, would you please address this, and will there be any bullion available? And lots of things we have to go on a day-to-day basis, just like Bob mentions. And, yes, I do assume there will be bullion available. If there isn't, we don't trade out. But already the Treasury is keeping up with the demand of gold eagles. The delivery is immediate. There's no more delays, although I still hear various dealers saying there are delays, but there isn't. Even Canadian Maple Leafs, right now, we're having immediate delivery. But that doesn't mean things can change tomorrow. And we could be right back to where we were where delivery is extended. But there's a lot of things that we're going to reach at it's going to take time to see how this plays out. But we will tell you when there's a good time to trade. And people will be selling their bullion. When we get to 2,000, Bob, I would expect that people will be selling their coins for whatever reason, those that are not in the know, I would think.
Well, I think you're going to see people who can't restrain themselves and go make the mistake of buying real estate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a mistake if they're willing to wait 10 years for it to start to recover, or maybe 15 or 20 years. And that's happened in the stock market as well in days past. So, when the world has a depression and everything's going down 60 to 90%, you want to be in gold. You want to have junk silver around if you need it to use in buying things or for barter. I don't think that the powers that be are going to get away with doing a one-world currency. I think they'll have the world upside down. And if they try bringing troops out to quell the people in Paris or in Frankfurt or Vilnius or whatever they are, or Oklahoma City, they're going to get met with people who are not going to back down. I mean, this is going to be big. This is going to be one of the biggest dislocations politically and socially in history. I mean, you're living in a very difficult, momentous, serious, dangerous time. It is not going to be nice. But you're prepared. You get your food and your filter and your weapons, and you get your gold and your silver coins. And then you can help your families who wouldn't listen to you, and your friends who wouldn't listen to you. You can feed their kids. And don't say you're not going to. You are.
I was talking to a nurse the other day, and they had a meeting at the hospital. Here you have 100 people or more where they're changing their 401s and taking things out, and they're going to have to work longer hours, and they were complaining. She says there was one doctor in there who says, you know, they were all complaining that they were losing money in the investments and everything. There was one doctor out of, you know, hundreds that said, well, if he bought gold, you would be losing. So this goes to show you that eventually, you know, it's going to be contagious, and people will begin. Whatever happened to Bush's assurances that he would not leave the Iranian nuclear problem for the next president? Evidently, it failed to materialize.
There never was a problem. Only in his mind, his diseased mind. But anyway, it was a political ploy to get us involved, to distract us from the terrible problems that we're experiencing in America. And this person who's our new president, he's going to do the same thing because he's going to be told what to do. And if he doesn't do what they tell him to do, he will have the same fate as Jack Kennedy. And he knows that. And they told him that, I can promise you.
Is it a big deal that he had to retake his oath?
Of course it is. And it's in tomorrow's issue of the International Forecaster.
And he didn't take it with the Bible.
That's right. Well, he took it twice. And the reason for that, from what I understand, and I didn't go over it deeply, I'm paraphrasing, is that they had to make him a citizen first by executive order.
Oh.
That's what it was all about. And you'll see it. It's all in tomorrow's issue.
Oh.
And those of you who are not subscribers, you fools, you.
Oh, good.
You should get a hold of Melody today and give her your email address or the email address of a friend or a daughter or a son or somebody so you can get that issue tomorrow.
So they intentionally flubbed it, turned him into a citizen?
Mm-hmm.
What impact does it do because it wasn't by a Bible? I mean, they don't go by that anyway.
No, I don't know. You just read it tomorrow. It's there. Somebody else did the work, and that's what we do. We accumulate information.
Good point.
If I wrote everything myself, I go crazy.
According to Al Jazeera, we got a minute left. According to Al Jazeera, at least 19 people who have been killed in 2 missile attacks by suspected U.S. drones flying over northwest Pakistan. Is this the steel fist promised by Obama?
Well, I don't know, but I do know that they're going to move in Pakistan and they're going to balkanize it. And that'll be part of the long war effort that'll last probably 10 or 15 years, which will involve that whole sector, which will be Israel, Lebanon, Palestine, Syria, Iran, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India. Don't forget, these people think that there's too many people around. They want to eliminate at least 50%. And in parts of the world like that, they think they're useless eaters, and so they'll kill them by the millions. I mean, you got to understand, these people are insane. This is Luciferian.
800-375-4188 for your gold and silver coins. We are out of time. I want to thank you for joining us this afternoon. Bob, as always, thank you. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate the listeners tuning in 5 days a week here for the programs brought to you by Discount Gold and Silver. We broadcast these programs throughout the day and evening, so if you happen to have bad reception or you can't hear it, there's other times that you can check in, and we'll have to go over those again on Monday, but we are out of time. Until then, have a great weekend. Be safe. Good night, and God bless. Good night, Bob.
Bye-bye.